Finally, now here we are to the Elder Scrolls Oblivion Remastered. And then, of course, this is the new box art. Um, Now, I've only played a little bit of this game. I haven't played a lot of it yet. Um, I know they have added some aspects from Skyrim over into Oblivion. Not a lot, just a little bit. Um, and now, my my thoughts, views, and opinions on Oblivion Remastered. Now, when this got leaked, the 2 days or whenever before it was supposed to get originally released, how it was all over Twitch and they were talking about it. Now when I was talking with my boyfriend and I told him that I bet you they're going to slap a $50 or $60 price on this game. They're going to attach a new game price to it. And I felt like that, well, really, they shouldn't have done that. Because, other in terms of appearance, how it's just been given a makeup job, it's just eye candy. That's exactly what I told him to, was that it's just eye candy. And that's also what was drawing players in, was the eye candy, and they figured those that are loyal to the series. Don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to knock this or knock Bethesda, but I felt like at most they should have charged $30 for this game. And everyone's talking about, if you remember back in the original games, how they were charging $10 for the horse armor DLCs, and then here it is, they are right back charging for the horse armor DLCs and the deluxe upgrades and whatnot. And I'm just thinking, this isn't a new game. What are they doing? They're doing this for it's a cash grab. That's all it is. It's a cash grab. Now I realize they got to get paid for their work because they did put in the time to remaster this. And from what I have played, this game, yes, it is. It's beautiful. It's been beautifully remastered. Because when my boyfriend was playing it on his Xbox, I was watching it with him. As he's playing it, you can hear the new dialogue that's been added, how they've had the actors come back into the studio and re-record the dialogue. Um, I'm pretty sure, because it said that there is new added voice content when you're there in the prison and you're across from the dark elf. When you're hearing him talk, you can tell it's not the same dialogue. He sounds completely different. It's been re-recorded. Also, with one of the blades, Bariotis, or the red guard. um, you can tell from the dialogue that's not the original. He sounds completely different. So I thought that was pretty cool that they did that. That they brought them in so that they sound completely different. That it matches. They didn't want to use the same, because that is something that. Oh, and speaking of voices, while I'm on that, they did talk about that all the different races now sound completely different in their own way. While in previous games, Skyrim included, that they all would use the same voice actor, the same pitch, tone. You could tell, basically, they recycled the voice actors, the same dialogue. They reused it over and over again. So you could go to one NPC over in this town and then go across the map to another location, and boom, there's the same NPC. Looks, well, a different NPC but same voice. So in remastered, they did try and make it to where the NPCs all sound different in their own way now, because that was a little bit boring, hearing the same person over and over and over again. But anyway, back to what I was saying. Um, yeah, just I felt like, yeah, this shouldn't have been as much as they charged for it. Um, and a lot of players, and I was telling this to a friend saying, I don't know why they remastered Oblivion, like, because if they were remastering it, why wouldn't they do, say, Morrowind? Because a lot of people liked Morrowind, but I think the reason why they remastered Oblivion is because maybe uh, it was closer to Skyrim, and it was easier for them to remaster it, because basically Oblivion Remastered is just a hard port. They took the original Oblivion, and I'm not a game developer or anything. I'm just speaking hypothetically that I think this is what they did. That they took the original Oblivion and all they did was just port it over using the Unreal Engine, and then they just, they fine tuned it, they touched it up where they could and whatnot. They did a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and boom, now we have remastered. But bad thing about that is if they did do that, like the hard port that they ported it from one engine over to the other one. Well, when I was playing it, when I was doing that first mission, when you get to Kavach, and you're trying to help the guards when they're retaking the courtyard, and you're looking for the Count of Kavach to save him. Well, you get into the courtyard, and the NPC he's repeating that same dialogue, saying we have to take over the courtyard. We have to yeah, I can't remember exactly what he says. How he says, yeah, we have to overtake the courtyard. We have to seize the courtyard. And that's just it. He doesn't progress the quest stages. And I do remember that bug from the original Oblivion. I don't think they ever fixed it. You had to do workarounds, and I looked it up because I was curious to see, was it the exact same way you had to do it in the original? And it is. So, spoiler here, that in order to get past that, you have to go into the castle, Kavach Castle, with those Imperial guards that said they saw the fire from the road and they're here to help you. They will, of course, go in there and help you, but the Kavach city guards that are supposed to be coming in there with you to help you don't. They just stand out there in the courtyard, and you have to go clear the area by yourself with the 3 Imperial Guard NPCs. You find the Count's body, you get his ring, you bring it back, then you talk to him, and then it progresses the quest stage, and then it fixes it. That's what I said. I do remember that bug glitch. I encountered that in the Oblivion in the original, so I remember that bug. I'm sure there's going to be other bugs that if Bethesda never addressed them when the original one came out, then of course they're not going to be fixed. Now, the bulk of that stuff that they didn't want to bother, that they thought they fixed, or they fixed it to the best of their abilities, what they couldn't fix, that's when you had to depend on the modding community, the ones that would release the unofficial Oblivion, the unofficial Skyrim patches that fixes this, fixes this quest, or it fixes that item, stuff that they couldn't fix themselves or be bothered to fix. It was the modders that had to do it. And like I said, when Remaster come out, I'm just thinking, is that what's going to happen again? Or are they going to routinely release patches to finally fix whatever bugs and glitches were left over from the original Oblivion? But, like I said, that um, I liked Oblivion. I really did. Um, it was way better than Morrowind. It was. Each game, Morrowind, Oblivion, Skyrim, they have all had their time in the spotlight. Each one was better than the other, or one did something better than the previous one. You know, so, um, but I would have to say my all-time favorite one. I would be like, oh yeah, my Morrowind was my favorite, or no, it's Oblivion, or no, it's Skyrim. Um, of course, Skyrim now. I know this isn't accurate because I played it on previous computers, uh, and then also when I owned Skyrim originally, I had it. I played it originally on the Xbox, so it didn't log that hour. So Oblivion, I've got on this computer now. Steam has it logged at about 420 hours. So that's about half a month. So Morrowind and Oblivion really didn't get the amount of time or attention that I really gave Skyrim. So I figure I'm wanting to go back and replay these old games and really see like what I missed out on in terms of the story, the gameplay, uh, the and then I know they're saying that remastered is not mod supported. Well, they're probably talking about maybe I don't know if they're talking about they're not going to make mods for it. With the Creation Club content that players release. I don't know if that's what they're talking about, that that's not going to be supported, or are they talking about basic mods are not going to be supported from anything? Because for anyone that goes on there, I've already seen there's over hundreds and hundreds of mods out for this game already. So that doesn't surprise me. And hey, I love mods. I really do. Except for Morrowind, I didn't know a thing about modding for Morrowind. I didn't really get into modding until the original Oblivion came out when I was 22. Because that's when I started modding the games, trying to make them better and everything, and even Skyrim. On Morrowind, I must have had about over. I think or at one point, I think I actually had about 500 mods for Skyrim, and then I started toning it down, really removing the ones that I felt like I really don't need this or that, because, well, of course, the more mods you have, if you don't have the load order correct, or if you're installing the mods manually, if you don't have it just right, you can really mess up your game. Um, but anyway, back to this. I know I keep getting off topic with the remaster, but yes, I felt like they we as the players, I felt like we shouldn't have been charged $50. I'm sure players are going to disagree with me, saying that it's not the original game, so of course it's going to have a different price on it. Others might say they agree with me wholeheartedly. But yeah, I just felt like this. It's not a other than it's just been redesigned. Uh, I just don't feel like this was a $50 game. And I know there are others that are saying they want Morrowind remaster, because now that Oblivion has remastered, now you have everybody out there saying, okay, now when are you going to release Morrowind remastered now? Well, the bad thing really about remastering Morrowind and Oblivion, from anybody that played Skyrim simplified a lot of the aspects of the game. It really did. Some people said that's what they loved about it. Other ones said that no, they don't like that. They made it too easy. In some areas of the game, they did make things too easy. Other ones, they made it to where some other things were too hard. Like how I talked about in crafting. Crafting was pretty much straightforward. You understood it. Um, but anyway, if like with Oblivion Remastered, I think maybe anybody that never played Oblivion and that Skyrim was the very first Elder Scrolls they started with. Well, here's the thing. I think a lot of people maybe thought they were going to bring a ton of content or elements or Skyrim feel over to the Oblivion Remastered. That I knew from the get go, before I even purchased Remastered, I knew that wasn't happening. I knew that wasn't going to be happening because, and they shouldn't do that because, well, here's the thing. The way it is now in Skyrim, you gotta remember, that's Skyrim. That's not Oblivion. That's not Morrowind. That's Skyrim. So if you were wanting the elements, the aspects, and gameplay style from Morrowind, then you're gonna want to play Morrowind. You're not gonna want to play Oblivion Remastered or Morrowind. You're gonna want to, if you started off playing Skyrim and you've gotten used to it, you're gonna want to play Skyrim. Now, if you started off like how I did, I started off with Morrowind. So the games grew for me in different categories and aspects of the game. You know, especially and then the modding communities that they've tried to do that same thing. Like with Oblivion Remastered, how you have the Sky Oblivion modders that they were trying to make Oblivion have Skyrim's graphics. Then you had, and then there was a group before them called what was it? Oh no, I'm sorry, not the Morrowind people. I'm sorry. Yeah, the only Oblivion one was you have the Sky Oblivion people. Okay, then Morrowind actually has two groups of modders. The first group, I'm guessing, was actually the Oblivion people. Those modders were trying to take the aspects of Morrowind and move it over using the original Oblivion engine in terms of the graphics and gameplay. The aspects of everything of the original Morrowind are going to be in the Oblivion engine, but Morrowind didn't have horses for fast travel. You had to go everywhere on foot. They can use the Oblivion engine, but just because Oblivion had horses, that doesn't mean it's going to be in the Morrowind remaster. Each thing is going to have something missing or something added. Each one's going to be completely different. And then you have the Morrowind. No, sorry, not Morrowind. I forgot what they're called. Skywind. I'm sorry. And I think that's the more active modding group, that the Skywind people are trying to take Morrowind and then they're trying to move it over, redesign it using Skyrim's engine. Personally, I would love to see what all they could do with them. I would love to see the Skywind and the more Oblivion mods, because considering how hard Morrowind was for me, the Skywind or even more Oblivion would probably be easier for me to play than the original. But you see, but that's what I mean. Like, each game is going to be completely different, whether it's the original or it's a remastered. So if you're a Skyrim player, like I said, and you played, you want a remastered Morrowind, or how it is with the remastered Oblivion, whatever was in Oblivion, if you loved it and you want it in the previous two games, you're not going to get it. As much as we all might want that, we're not going to get it, because then Morrowind would cease to be Morrowind. Oblivion would cease to be Oblivion.